Hi, this is Homai again, and in this video we are going to be overviewing time signatures. So, in the last video we learned about the treble clef. After you have a clef in music, let's say we have a treble clef here, we usually have a key signature, which we'll learn about in a future video. And after the key signature we have a time signature. So I'll write the time signature in blue. And it's a set of numbers. Probably the most common time signature we'll see is 4/4 time. So this is what is known as a time signature. Time signatures can also be other numbers. It might be 3/4. It might be 6/8. It could be 12/16, 5/2, as just some examples of combinations. Now let's learn what these numbers actually mean. So let's say that I have 4/4 time. And I'm making them different colors because the numbers have different meanings. So there's always a top number and then a bottom number, a lower number. Okay, so you'll see there's a 4 up here and then a lower number 4, a 3 up here and then a 4 down here. For now, let's talk about just the top number. In music, we talked about how music is divided into measures, like this. So these vertical lines that I just drew here are called bar lines. And the space in between the bar lines is known as a bar or a measure. They have two names. The top number of the time signature here tells us the number of beats in each measure. So it's a 4. So this means that there are 4 beats per measure. So if the time signature was 4/4 here, then we know that there are going to be 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4 beats in this measure, and also 4 beats in every other measure in this example. Now the bottom number indicates the type of note value that is equal to 1 beat. Now for those of you who understand fractions, this will be a little bit easier. So if we turn 4/4 into a fraction, one way of expressing this fraction is 4/1 times 1/4. Since 4 times 1 is 4 and 1 times 4 is 4, this also equals 4/4 time. And this is one way I like to think about it, especially if you have already done, multiplication of fractions. Well, you could think of this as 4 beats in one measure, and, well, 1/4 or 1/4 is also known as a quarter, or in this case, a quarter note. So what this is actually telling us is that there are 4 quarter notes in each measure. So it's quite simple if you think of it this way. The top number tells us the number of beats. The bottom number tells us what notes are the beats. So we can say that this says that there are 4 quarter notes, because of the 4 here, 4 quarter notes per measure. So if I go back to this example here, this measure will have 1 quarter note, 2 quarter notes, 3 quarter notes, and 4 quarter notes. That's how many quarter notes we'll have in each measure. Now sometimes we might have other notes. Let's say we have some half notes. Well, as we discovered in a previous video, there are 2 quarter notes in each of these half notes. And 2 plus 2 is still 4. So in this case, there are still 4 quarter notes, even though now they're half notes. So if I were to clap and count these 2 bars, they would sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do another example. Let's say that now we have the time signature 6, 8. 6, 8. This is telling us that there are 6, think of this 8 as a fraction, 6/8 notes per measure. 6/8 notes per measure. So now if I'm writing these measures out, I'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 eighth notes per measure. Then I'll need a bar line like this. And I might have another 6/8 notes in my next measure. And this time I would count this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's try clapping and counting this together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Another example of a time signature. Let's say we have the time signature 2, 2. This is telling us that there are 2 half notes per measure. 2 half notes per measure. Okay? So if I'm drawing these notes, it's going to look like this. 2 half notes. And in this case, this first half note will be beat number 1, and this second half note will be beat number 2. And maybe I have a whole note. There are 2 halves in a whole, so I'm just going to write 1-2. If we clap and count this, it's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, like that. Feel free to pause and go back in the video to try some of these rhythms out with me. In the next video, we're going to be talking about dotted notes and also how to subdivide. I'll see you there.